In today's episode, I'm going to start by sharing over $1.6 million worth of wins from elopement photographers I've worked with. And that's just a small handful of past and present mastermind members. And this isn't to brag on behalf of these photographers, but to give you evidence. Evidence that this work is possible, evidence that couples are investing, and evidence that if these photographers can do it, you can do it too, especially when you're not doing it alone. In this episode, I want to walk you through exactly what's behind those wins, the patterns I see over and over again, and why building your business with support and community changes everything. Let's get into it. Welcome to Stoked, the podcast that helps adventure elopement photographers hit six figures and beyond in their businesses without hustling on social media. I'm your host, Megan McPhail, a former burnt-out emergency veterinarian that quit my hard-earned career to become an elopement photographer. Now I'm living a life I absolutely love, full of travel, adventure, and financial abundance, and I am hell-bent on helping you do the same. Are you ready to start booking out your calendar with dream couples in breathtaking locations and feeling genuinely stoked about your elopement photography business, life, and bank account? Then let's dive into this week's episode. Hey, it's your host, Megan McPhail.
And your co-host, Todd Reedy.
And today's episode is all about showing you what's possible for you and your elopement photography business in the next 12 months. I'm going to be sharing a bunch of wins. It's like $1.6 million worth of wins. And this is just a small handful of photographers who absolutely killed it in 2025. So I'm going to rattle off a bunch of these wins, but then I'm going to explain to you how they made this happen. Because while most of these are six-figure wins, these are all people in different locations and very different situations in their lives. So I want you to listen to these wins as I rattle them off and see these as evidence that this is possible for you. I don't want you to hear these wins and be like, oh, must be nice, or yeah, but it could work for them, but not for me, or well, now that they're booking in California, that means there's less bookings for me, or something like that, because that is not what we see ever. We see people's successes as evidence that it's possible, and it's not taking away from your potential success. So yeah, are you ready to get into it?
Yeah, and let me just throw in my little 2 cents here to begin with. So if you do or don't know my story, I was an engineer before this, and I met Megan, and she showed me that this life and this type of work is possible. And so really I needed, and we see often other times, people just need like a permission slip that you can do this and that there's evidence to support it.
Yeah.
So
this is your permission slip. So I want you to listen to all these wins with an open mind and be like, that could be me, because I think you'll find parts of yourself in some of these stories. I'm not going to get super deep into a lot of these people's stories. Some of them have been on the podcast. But yeah, I want you to feel inspired, and I want you to see what is open and available to you, and that none of these people are special. I mean, they're all very, very special, but they don't have anything extra that you don't have. So let's get into it. I collected some info from just a few of my Elopement Photographer Mastermind members. And so Michaela, who used to struggle with marketing on Instagram for her business, just hit $95,000 this year. And this is coming out. Oh, by the way, Happy New Year. This episode is coming out in the new year, but we're recording it mid-December. So some of these numbers could be even more impressive by the time this episode airs. But yeah, Happy New Year, guys. Welcome to 2026.
Happy New Year.
Yeah. So Michaela hit $95,000 after struggling with marketing on Instagram only for her elopement photography business. And she was able to replace her computer with no issues because she actually had money to do it. And that seems like a little thing, but how many of you guys would be able to just spend $2,000 to $3,000 on a computer if it kind of took a crap on you? Brittany hit $100,000 offering all-inclusive elopements in Utah. She got to partner up with one of her besties who does hair and makeup, and she shoots primarily in Moab. And I just saw on her Instagram stories that she just booked something for 2026 that involves an airplane flight over Moab. So she's doing some really cool stuff. Amanda hit $100,000 for the second year in a row, booking Lake Tahoe elopements where she lives. And this whole time, she's had less than 1,000 Instagram followers, and she hates Instagram. So that just goes to show what you can do with the right website and strategies. Juliana, who was just on the podcast, hit $160,000 on the East Coast, and her average booking for next year is $8,000. She also got married and bought a house this year, so she's killing it. This is a big one. Natasha, who is a Pacific Northwest elopement photographer, hit $260,000 this year. So she's killing it, and she just moved to the Pacific Northwest like a year and a half ago from New York. So this is like a brand new market for her that she's been in for, well, I guess, no, it's been like 2.5 years now. But she hit 6 figures her first year there. So she's killing it. And she's starting to pivot into education now because she knows that she can pay it forward and help others.
And that's another good example, right? The Pacific Northwest, you may think, is like one of the hotbeds for eloping and elopement photographers. And so, yeah, there's a lot of competition out there, but it's definitely doable to get your foot in the door and make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Like there's lots of elopements out there.
Yeah. She literally just moved there and started getting bookings because she's awesome. And she joined the Elopement Photographer Mastermind. But anyway, Christina in California hit $130,000 this year. She had wanted to become an adventure elopement photographer for years, kind of talked herself out of it, and then finally went for it. And now she's absolutely killing it in California, moved to a new home. She's got a young son at home. And I'm just really proud of her because she went full force. She books in Big Sur, Yosemite, and the Redwoods, which is amazing. Vanessa hit 6 figures back in September with a brand new freaking baby at home. In New Hampshire. Now she's house hunting with her husband, and she hasn't had to rely on daycare at all. So she's hitting 6 figures. I'm not even sure what it is now because she hit 6 figures back in September, but she's like at home with her baby, raising her baby while making all this money, which is really freaking cool. Cheryl hit 100K back in October. She's been shooting destination elopements primarily. She also has a new baby at home. Which so many of these photographers have children. And like the cool thing about elopements is that it does give you a lot more freedom than any other photography niche, I think. Like there's so many moms out there like traveling with their babies, having multiple babies. Like it's really, really cool.
Well, and we can't really talk to that because we don't have human babies. So we have to take their word for it. And again, just another example or multiple examples that it's doable while raising children.
Yeah, totally. Kristen hit $117,000 in California. This was her first year pivoting into elopements. So I think she joined the Elopement Photographer Mastermind around this time last year. And yeah, she hit 117K booking in Lake Tahoe and Yosemite. And at some point she was worried she might have to go back to her job as a veterinary technician. And I was like, no, you are not going back to vet med. As a lot of you know, I was an emergency vet, so she's making a lot more money now, and she's also a mom and has chickens, so that's awesome. Kiera joined us around this time last year. She was a family photographer, and she photographed our support coach, Karen's family, and was like, what is this that you do? Like, was really interested in it and sold all of her fancy dresses that she had in her client closet for her family photos in order to join the mastermind. And she just hit $80,000 photographing elopements in Sedona. So she killed it this year, and she's just going to keep going up. And I think the most she ever made was like way less than that, like in the 30,000s, I think maybe. And she would have had to book a ton of family photography sessions to make that much. So she adopted a bunch of bunnies this year. And she also has 2 children, one of which is an adorable girl, but she does have some special needs. So Kira's a great mom. And yeah, it just goes to show that this business can support your family life. Ava hit 6 figures this year. She was on the podcast a while back. She lives in Estonia. And so she's been booking in Italy and Portugal, which like, oh my God, what a dream. She has like 300 Instagram followers, you guys, and just hit 6 figures for the year and just started this process like around this time last year. So she had nothing. She went from like 0 to 6 figures with 300 Instagram followers from a foreign country. So y'all can do it too. And she has 2 daughters. Nicole hit $92,000 this year. She's in upstate New York. She also got married and bought a house and is now expecting a little baby. She talked herself out of pivoting into elopements for years and finally went for it last year and hit 92,000. She's again in New York. She's doing primarily elopements in like Lake George and the Adirondacks and occasionally Florida. And I'm just so happy that she's happy. Liz hit $100,000 for the second year in a row, photographing elopements in Banff in Ontario. It was hard for her to get her business off the ground because she really wanted to focus on Ontario, and there wasn't a ton of elopements happening there. So we also got her into Banff, which again, people think these markets are like super saturated, but it just shows that there's work to be had there. Like there's elopements happening there. So she's went right into Banff and she's been doing really well the past 2 years. Sierra is a mom of 4 and she hit $73,000 this year. That's the most she's ever made. And I'm really proud of her. And I want to celebrate some of the wins that aren't quite to 6 figures, but are getting there because I think those are just as important. Like SB, for example, I actually photographed her wedding back in the day. She's amazing. She has a PhD. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I did.
Yeah. So she had gotten one of my self-paced courses a while back and was like kind of booking some elopements. And I was like, why don't you just join us in the mastermind? So she came in, totally redid her website, tripled her income from the previous year, and is booking things in like Breckenridge, which is where she wants to move someday with her husband and her son. So, oh my God, these are like all parents. Or at least half or like 2/3 are parents. I think that's so cool. I mean, how cool is that to like be a mom, but still pursue what you love? Like, that's got to be so empowering to you and like to your children too. Like, I think that's really cool.
And make a solid living.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's so cool. And then I also want to shout out Erica, who had a rough 2025. She had a lot of loss last year, a lot of grief. But going into 2026, she, at the time of this recording, has 7 bookings. She just raised her prices over $6,000. She has gotten her spark back. She has gotten her love back. And I remember when I asked her recently, like, what were you most proud of in 2025? I don't know. I'm like tearing up a little. She said not quitting. And it's been really cool to see her, I mean, not go through all the grief and loss. That was really hard, I think. I mean, obviously for her and for everybody who wanted to support her through that, but to see her get her like mindset back on track and her excitement for her business and like finally getting over 6,000 for her prices and having her be happy and excited about that, like that's been really cool to see. So those are my wins that I've collected for you guys. I have goosebumps talking about them because these are like real people that I know, that I worked with, that I've seen them go through some shit. Like it's not just all rainbows and butterflies and sunshine. There's hard parts to this, but every single person that I just mentioned is a member either currently or like an alumni of the Elopement Photographer Mastermind. So these are all people that asked for help. Like that's really the only thing that really sets them apart from others is these are people who are like, I don't want to figure this out on my own. I have a dream. I'm willing to work for it, but I want to do the right work. I don't want to just be guessing. And I want to have a community that supports me. And that's really how they've gotten to where they are. And they have so much higher to go too. Like for a lot of them, this is just their first year doing this. You know, some of them like Natasha and Juliana and Amanda, this is like their second year and they're refining and optimizing and improving. But for a lot of them, this was their first year. So like this is just the beginning. So their success is rooted in the fact that they weren't afraid to ask for help. They committed to the process. They committed to their dream of being an elopement photographer. They joined the Elopement Photographer Mastermind. They had a community that had their back. They were in a room, a quote unquote room full of people that were booking 5K to 10K elopements, which made that seem normal and inevitable. They got consistent feedback. They got help when things got hard. They were able to lean on us when they needed to, when they were second guessing themselves. And yeah, I posted this on social media the other day. Like, no one accidentally becomes a six-figure elopement photographer. It's very intentional. So what do you think about all those folks? Because Todd knows all these people too and has worked with them.
It's really cool to see these big milestones because I've seen the conversations and listened in on some of the struggles, and to see like how far these ladies have come. It's really inspiring, as well as like it's not uncommon for this to happen, right?
Yeah.
Like we see this time and time again for the people that do the right work and they put in the effort. Yeah, and these ladies are amazing. Like it's wild how like different they are.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have some of them are on the older side, like Megan and I's age. We have
Mm-hmm.
some young guns that are like probably right out of college, if that.
Yeah.
Again, people with families, people without, people on the West Coast, East Coast, in the middle of the country, like
Mm-hmm.
all over. So like their stories are similar, but they're all like very unique, and they're all just doing it their own way with a little bit of help from us.
Yeah, totally. I think that's such a cool way to think of it too. Yeah, because they're all, even if like two of them are both wanting to like do California elopements, they're still totally different people with like different vibes, energies, personalities, skill sets, pasts,
Editing
like,
styles, like,
yeah.
yeah, just very different individuals winning at the same game.
Yeah. I like how you put that. So I want to talk about the mastermind because I don't think I've ever really truly explained it on the podcast. And I think a lot of people see these wins and they hear me mention the mastermind, but like what is actually entailed. So when you join, we give you a step-by-step roadmap that goes through every part of your business. And I don't care where people are at in their businesses, if they're brand new or if they're more established. We go through the same step-by-step process without jumping around, because what we're doing is we are finding the cracks in your business and fixing them or creating things from scratch, or we are affirming you that you are doing the right things if you are doing some of the right things. And this is kind of like something that I got from being a veterinarian, especially like an emergency veterinarian, because I saw sick animals all the time and they all had like the same, like not eating, didn't want to go on a walk, and having diarrhea or something. The bowel movements are always a big thing, right? So I had to figure out what was wrong with this dog. And what the owners thought was wrong, which would be like you guys as the business owners, was maybe not what was truly wrong. So I would go through a methodical step-by-step process to diagnose what's going on with this dog. I would start with a physical exam, temperature, pulse, respiratory rate, blood pressure, like we would collect data and then like move on from there and be like, okay, now we do full blood work. Now we do a urinalysis. Now we do an x-ray, now I check with my ultrasound real quick, So there's like a step-by-step way of doing it. And if you varied from that, you could miss something. And if you miss something, then the whole diagnosis and treatment plan falls apart. So you really can't jump around. Even if some of the things you're doing is appropriate, that's just as important to know as what's broken. So that's, I feel like, one of the things that's really cool is like, even though everyone's so different and has different goals and is coming into the program at a different place in their business, but, everybody's like, I need more inquiries and bookings and money. That's kind of like the underlying thing. Everybody's kind of got the same struggles, but we still go by the step-by-step of everything because we got to fix things in a certain order and we got to diagnose and treat things in a certain order. So we look at what you want as a person. We work on your pricing. We work on your marketing, your website, your planning process, your client experience, and then troubleshooting. And that's really the key part, is that once you have all your ducks in a row, you just troubleshoot until it works.
And the troubleshooting is like very unique because, like Megan said, we kind of put you through the process that's standard for every student. But after you've gone through that step and like now have shown the world what you offer, what your photos look like, what your pricing is, right? That's a standard package. But the troubleshooting is where like we find a lot of the wins and like people really make progress, is because the troubleshooting is very unique to each individual person, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whether that's their location, their lighting, their photography, like their marketing, how they do sales calls, like everybody has their own like strengths and weaknesses.
Mm-hmm.
And so that troubleshooting aspect is like where the money is, literally and figuratively.
Yeah.
Because that last little step of troubleshooting is where we make the biggest gains.
Yeah. So this step-by-step roadmap is not meant to be extra work. I want to make that clear because I hear sometimes where people are like, well, I'm too busy. I mean, you're already spending time on your business, so you might as well be putting your energy and time towards things you know are going to lead to bookings and money instead of things that just feel productive and may not actually be improving your business. So I really want to make that clear that I'm not here to just throw a bunch of knowledge at you. I'm really here to help you take action and implement things, especially the things that you've been avoiding because they're a little scary, which everybody has. And yeah, so it's not designed to be extra work. It's just the work that needs to be done.
It's the right work.
It's the right work, yeah. And the support system that you have inside the Elopement Photographer Mastermind has grown. It used to just be me. And as I had people go through the mastermind and they, hit six figures and had wins and stuff like that, they would come back and I basically gave them jobs within the mastermind as support coaches. Because I'm like, look, like Juliana, if you listened to her podcast recently, like she was answering questions amazingly in the Slack. She came to every coaching call, like she was just awesome. So I'm like, please let me pay you to be a support coach. And so now we have a bunch of support coaches who all have their different zones of genius. They live all over and they are active inside of our Slack group answering questions. But then they also have their own group coaching calls every month, which I love because I have 3 group coaching calls every month where I just kind of like, ask people where they're at and give them actionable feedback and kind of get them out of their spirals or, help them shift their mindsets and what to focus on next, stuff like that. But then the coaching calls with the support coaches are more like about certain subjects. So Todd, do you want to share what those are?
Yeah. So without going into too much detail, so in addition to the 3, what we call hot seats, where Megan does kind of the group coaching, but like really dives deep into the details of what you're struggling on. And then the bonus session, which include a website review with Juliana, a photo critique with Megan Lawler, a workflow and automation session with Karen, Google Ads with Brittany, a social media call with Jessica, copy clinics with Natalie, who is not a photographer, but she is explicitly a copyright coach and copywriter. Then we have a Pinterest session with Pin with Paula, who is a Pinterest manager and blogging expert. And then the last session is a videography session with me for those who want to dabble in videography or they have like a spouse that wants to get into videography.
Yeah, we always include like a 2-for-1 special for the couples that do like photo video together. Like you can just join as one person.
And if you think that's a lot of meetings, when am I going to actually get the work done? So we don't expect and we don't have people that come to every 11 sessions every month.
Mm-mm.
So it's really a choose your own adventure when it comes to the sessions. So any given month, you may not need all of the sessions or any of them. It just depends on what you're working on at that given time. And we also have a lot of students that come and maybe won't ask questions, but they'll just be listening in the background, like learning through osmosis while they're editing a gallery or while they're doing some culling or whatever it may be. So just like hearing things like a lot is very helpful.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't have to come to all of them. I would say mine are the most attended. I get like 10
to 15.
10 to 15 people. And then there's like 3 to 5 on the other ones probably.
Yeah, it just depends.
Yeah. So these are pretty intimate and everybody gets a chance to ask their questions. And yeah, I would say that we just have had a lot of people with different learning styles inside the mastermind. So you get to kind of pick and choose what works best for your learning style. And some people love to come to as many video calls as possible. Some people never go to those. Some people are very active in our group Slack where all of us coaches live. And you can ask questions and get feedback as you need it. Some people are not very active in there. And then after each lesson that we take you through, remember I was talking about the step-by-step roadmap. So after each lesson, you submit homework to us. And that's so that we can get to know your business just as much as you are fixing it, So some people really just rely on the homework and the homework reviews and don't come to much else. So it's really just what works best for you and that we are all here for you. Yeah, there's 8 of us or 9 of us on the team.
Yeah, so it's you and then 8 support coaches.
Okay, yeah. So that's a whole team of people with your success as their main motivator.
Yeah, and it's nice having kind of like this, not only like the community of photographers, but like having this team of coaches to ask, right? So, and I like to tell people, like, if you don't like one of the answers that one of the coaches gives you, just go ask another coach. Because again, all these people have built businesses in different ways, in different aspects of their lives, with or without kids, on the East Coast, on the West Coast. There's, again, no right way to build a business. And so there's just lots of points of views of what has worked and what hasn't for a lot of different folks along the way.
Yeah, and here's another veterinary analogy. When I first started practicing and I was having to treat diabetic ketoacidosis, which is like very, very sick animals come in with DKA. And I had one internist tell me to do it one way, one criticalist tell me to do it another way, another internist told me a different way. And no matter what mishmash of ways I treated these guys in the ER, they all got better, but like each of those specialists was like, this is the way, So like it just goes to show that there are multiple ways to get to the same destination. And like I want to make sure that people are building their success in a way that makes sense to their personality and to their life. And yes, there will be like kind of a season of hard work, but I don't want it burning you out. I want you to enjoy your success. I want it to add to your life. I don't want you doing things that are going to stress you out and burn you out at the expense of building your business, So we're all here to help you kind of like navigate that and like give you the steps, but then also help you do it in your own way.
And to learn how to like diagnose these problems and troubleshoot your business once you leave us.
Yeah.
Right? Because we're not going to be your coach for the rest of your life. You being an entrepreneur, you need to figure out how to solve problems. And so we kind of hold your hand and show you the way, and then you're able to diagnose those issues on your own upon graduation.
Yeah. Yeah. So my goal is definitely to make you feel confident in your business and be able to leave us and be like, yeah, I can handle all this. Like I'm not going to get into a spot again where I'm like, why aren't I getting inquiries and bookings? You'll know exactly why you aren't. So we have like different tracks. So there's a 6-month track and a 12-month track. And I'll be honest, there are some folks who have been in the mastermind for years now and have no desire to leave.
Including some of the people that we mentioned at the beginning of this this episode.
Which is awesome. Some of them have become support coaches. Like, if you love a community, yeah, why would you leave it, right? But our goal is to help you fly the nest, not stay with us forever. But if you want to stay with us forever, we would love that because we love helping people. But I used to only offer the mastermind in like a 12-month track. And you get access to everything forever, but like the actual coaching and Zoom calls and Slack group is just for 12 months. But then I opened up a 6-month track as well. They both go over the same exact stuff and you have access to the same stuff. It's literally just a different amount of time. And the best way I would describe it is that I think the 6-month track is really best for the elopement photographers that have a established business, maybe even are doing pretty good, but they want to come in and get our eyes on their business, go through that step-by-step process to see, okay, I'm doing this right, this could be better, raise their prices, improve their marketing, improve their planning experience, and just like refine and optimize. And then the 12-month track is a lot better for people who are pivoting from weddings or families into elopements or just starting elopements from scratch. I do think everyone could benefit from being with us for 12 months because I see better results from 12 months. Like the longer you have mentorship and eyes on what you're doing and feedback, especially through the troubleshooting phase. You just do better and you're more confident at the end. And then with the 12 months too, we are with you with every season. And there is a seasonality to all of this stuff. So yeah, so those are kind of the differences. Some people do join for 6 months and then upgrade to 12 months. But yeah, what do you think? The people that stay with us for a year just do better.
They do. I would say the 6 month is very accelerated, right? You have to get through the same amount of material in half the time. So that's like twice the work.
Yeah.
But the seasonality is really nice because we know booking season is January, February, March. We know busy season is in the fall.
And the holidays are a crapshoot.
Yeah. It just takes the pressure off of having to get through all of the work at an extremely accelerated pace.
Yeah. And I know when I feel pressure, I don't do things. I just was realizing that the other day. I was like, I put way too much pressure on myself to like finish this thing. So like I'm literally doing nothing today. But then if I'm just like, oh, I'm just going to do this little piece, I can get that little piece done. No pressure. But yeah, can't put pressure on it. But a deadline and urgency helps me get work done. But if I'm just like putting too much pressure on myself to finish this big thing, then I just get paralyzed and don't do anything. So yeah, there's a lot to it. And again, I want to stress, this isn't extra work. It's just the work that you need to do. And if you're not doing this work, you're going to be on the struggle bus. And that's what I see all the time is even the folks that look successful on Instagram, when they come to me, they're struggling. And I don't want that for you. It's not that it's going to be easy, and it's not that you're going to build a business super quickly. Like there are things that need to be done, and there are lessons that need to be learned. It's the work and the lessons that need done so that you can be a empowered, confident business owner and just understand all the ins and outs of all of this stuff, like marketing and pricing yourself and elopement planning. Like people just don't know what's all entailed, and they're just winging it. And we've all been there, but there's just an easier way, which is joining us in the Elopement Photographer Mastermind. So I've never really broken it down like this on the podcast, but seeing so many wins in 2025 and hearing all the stories and the thank yous and how much people's lives changed, I was like, I can't tiptoe around it. I can't be like, oh, I don't want to be salesy. I've got to put this out there for people. So if you are feeling called to have us in your corner to help you build your elopement photography business or help you refine and optimize it and hit bigger goals, even if that's like $200,000, something crazy, like please apply with us. You can go to meganmcphail.com/mastermind, fill out that application. Don't worry about the money stuff yet, because we'll talk about it. But I will get back to you with a personalized video where I go over your application and your social media and your website and basically give you a explanation of what we're going to do together. I can always see the potential in people before they really see it in themselves. So let me tell you your potential and let us start a conversation. Because if you want to pivot into elopements or get better at elopements in 2026, we're here for you.
So my last two little tidbits are, number one, when we ask students at the end what they would tell hesitant applicants, the answer is always just do it. They drag their feet for too long, they wait, and when they do it, they find success, but you just have to start. The second thing is there's kind of like a running joke between the students in the mastermind and also me, because I obviously live with Megan. Just listen to Megan and do what she says, because oftentimes students and I think we know better, and turns out Megan is almost always right. I say that as her husband, but also as her business partner and as her student. Yeah, she's been around the block and she can help.
Yeah.
So
I love that. I've had requests to put that on a t-shirt or a sweatshirt that says, what would Megan say? Or something like that, like WWMS. So cool. Thanks, guys. Thanks for listening. If you made it all the way to the end, you should definitely apply. meganmcphail.com/mastermind. Let us help you. And we can't wait to see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks so much for joining us on this week's episode of Stoked. If you enjoyed the show and you'd like to help support the podcast, please subscribe, leave a review, and tell a friend. If you're looking for more inspiring elopement photography content, check us out on Instagram at Megan McPhail. And if you'd like to hear more about my business coaching and how I can personally help you hit six figures as an elopement photographer, then check out my website at www.meganmcphail.com.